Well, that got interesting. I appreciate the love and support. The truth is, up until 6 weeks ago, I thought I was going to present that documentary. I had been contacted in March of 2020. It had been an ongoing discussion for the last 9 months of the year. I'm not sure what happened, but it's not meant to be. Although it will always be something I'm passionate about, I have to set my ego aside because it's not only I who tried to highlight the disturbing data when it came to black women dying in childbirth. It's a group effort. It always has been. So as gutted as I was, the message remains the same. And it's such a serious issue that we should hold space no matter who is narrating the story. Why is this happening? And what can we do to fix it? Hopefully documentaries, books, and most importantly, listening to black women will help fix things. And that is a post by Candice Braithwaite. So if you go on my Instagram stories, you will see something that I posted. And I'm so triggered and I feel so angry and annoyed. So I figured that rather than kind of like calm down and everything, I would speak from this position that I sit in at the moment, because I have this platform and I want to use it and I have to use it. And I always, laugh and joke and tell you guys I'm doing the Lord's work, but best believe I know I am. Candice Braithwaite is a beautiful black queen. If none of you know of her, haven't heard of her, maybe you're living under a rock. I joke. But honestly, she's absolutely amazing. She first came to my attention maybe 2 years ago, I believe, when she highlighted the statistics in relation to the high mortality rate of black women within childbirth. And I have followed her ever since then. She's given us access, although very limited access, to her family. She shares stuff as a beautiful black queen navigating life. And I love her honesty, her authenticity, and her ability to just stand in her truth. Candice Braithwaite is a beautiful black queen. She's a wife, a mother, Sunday Times bestselling author, a TV presenter, and contributing editor of Grazia magazine. So, where do I start? So, a couple of days ago, was it yesterday or day before, I had seen Rochelle Humes. If you do not know Rochelle Humes, she's a TV presenter. She's a mixed race woman married to Marvin, who is in the band JLS. Rochelle Humes was in a girl group called The Saturdays. So, she's in the entertainment industry here in the UK. And she also guest presents This Morning as well. And This Morning, for those of you who don't live in the UK, is like a morning, I don't even know if I'd call it a chat show, but yeah, it's just one of those. So Rachel Humes was announced as the narrator, presenter of a documentary that's coming out, basically discussing the high mortality rate in black women during childbirth and the treatment that black women receive from the medical staff and medical professionals. And when I saw it, it made me uncomfortable because I guess from my perspective is, what is it that what could she bring to this documentary, being a mixed race woman, having a proximity to whiteness that would mean that she has a level of privilege. Therefore, when she is speaking about the black experience, she can only speak about it so far. And when I woke up this morning, I got a DM from one of my Toya Talks beautiful black women who, I love you guys so much because you guys know I'm not on social media like that, half as much as I should be, but you guys always bring things to my attention. And she sent me the article, she sent me Candice Braithwaite's statement, and she sent me a couple of other things. So Candice was actually meant to be presenting that documentary herself, and then found out that it had been given to Rochelle Humes, who is mixed race. Now, if you don't know Candice Braithwaite, please go and follow her platform because she's amazing and she's just so authentic with it. But when I read everything, I went on Instagram and I posted on my stories what I'm about to communicate here in the way that I will communicate in my truth, in that Candice Braithwaite is a dark-skinned black woman, beautiful, strong, and when I see her, I see myself. It is amazing to see a woman on her platform that looks like me, that speaks to me. And when we're talking about the mortality rate of black women, I find it very difficult to understand what Rochelle Humes can contribute, because number one, she's mixed race. She's not a black woman, she's mixed race. Now, I say this fully accepting that I've always made the assumption that mixed race women are black, but there are some mixed race women who consider themselves as black, and that's fine, that's completely up to them. And there's some black mixed race women that consider themselves as mixed race, and again, that's fine. But the reality is, black women don't have a proximity to anything other than our own blackness. But mixed race women have a proximity to whiteness because they're mixed race. And I think for me, my thing has always been, whatever you identify yourself as and whatever you are or whatever you tell people, whatever, it's completely up to you. But in reality, the experiences of black women are very different from the experiences of mixed race women. My anger and my upset comes from the fact that black women are not allowed to tell their own story. But instead, it's now being whitewashed and it's being given to a palatable mixed race woman to talk about, where her proximity to whiteness precludes her from completely understanding why black women are treated the way we are by the medical professionals. This is not the first time it's been spoken about. Kelechi Okafor has spoken about it as well, her experiences that she shared on her platform about her treatment by the medical professionals, the NHS here in the UK. And to be quite honest with you, as a black woman myself, going through the next chapter of my life, and I'm so sorry about any emotion that I communicate in this episode, is because it's triggering for me. I'm very triggered and I'm very angry and I'm very upset because I know the fear that I have as a black woman. I'm at that chapter of having a child, and the biggest fear I have is when you look at the statistics in comparison to white women, it is chilling to see how many black women die during childbirth because they're just not listened to. How many stories have we heard? How many things of late have we heard of black women dying during childbirth when they shouldn't? They should never. We call this, the society that we're living in, the world we're living in, we call it the Western world. They distance themselves from the third world, and what basically separates the UK from third world countries is our access to medication and medicine. So why is it that when black women tell you what is happening to our bodies, we're telling you what our bodies are telling us? You're basically telling us our bodies aren't saying what it's saying. Black women are policed, their bodies are policed, and we're not giving the same treatment that white women are. I genuinely believe that the reason why this documentary has been given to Rochelle Humes is purely because the people that are producing this documentary are white people, and they're tiptoeing around the fragility of a white audience. Because the trauma in delivering such a documentary, the triggering nature of this documentary when it's delivered, it's going to be startling when we look at the statistics and the facts. So the way to whitewash it is to give it to a mixed race woman that is more palatable to an audience of white people who often have an opinion about everything to do with black women. I think when I read everything and I read Candice Braithwaite's statement, I was really, really hurt and I was really touched because black women, we're made to feel like we can't even complain. We can't even tell you what we're going through. We can't. And this is a classic example of it. We're not even allowed to tell our own story. It's a mixed race woman who has access to private healthcare, who has never, ever, ever understood what it means to be a black woman in today's society. Because we don't have, as black women, privilege. We don't have any of it. The trauma and the triggering nature of a black woman's existence is we live it every single day. I am so triggered by this. I'm so triggered by the fact that Candice Braithwaite was supposed to deliver this. Like, what is the reason? What is the reason that it's been given to a mixed race woman? What is the reason? And they're never going to justify this reason. And as a black woman, like many of us are, going through, considering, or even black women who have had very traumatic childbirth and treated appallingly by the medical staff and medical professionals because of the colour of our skin, this documentary for me would be an education, right? It would be an education about how to educate myself and what to prepare for and the things to look out for, and educate the people around me when I go through and walk that path. But I feel like that's been taken away. And now I question how it's going to be delivered. And also, who is delivering this? It's very different when you're delivering a documentary from experience, rather than delivering a documentary from a position of privilege. You're never really going to get the authentic realness of the topic that is being discussed. And the mortality rate of black women during childbirth, it's such a serious topic that I felt like it could only be given justice being delivered by a black woman. And for me, Candice Braithwaite, I needed her to deliver it, because also she's walked that path. We would be hearing, hopefully, her experiences. I just can't get my head or wrap my head round it, other than to tell you that the undertones of racism are very potent here. And although that I've spoken about it on my timeline on Instagram, it lasts for 24 hours. My podcast is here. It's firm. It sits on a platform. And I'm hoping in years to come, things would have improved. Things would have improved in terms of the way black women are treated by the medical professionals and medicine in general. And I think what gets me is that they talk about how the BAME community are, they talk about the vaccine and the lack of engagement by the BAME community. I'm so sorry. A society and a country that refuses to accept or understand slavery and what happened. They refuse to understand and accept it and take responsibility. They don't want to talk about reparations. They don't want to go in their British museums and return the stolen artifacts from Africa. You treat us like shit. The distrust that you have sown, and then you're criticizing us for not trusting you about the vaccine. But you don't even look after black women when we are bringing new life into the world. But we should trust you with a vaccine. Like, make it fucking make sense. Make it make sense. Somebody sent me something in my DMs, and I've got to read this. She said, I saw this post from Rochelle yesterday saying she wanted our opinions. Please, which opinions? I just closed Insta and went on with my day because you don't speak for me. More so, when has Rochelle ever spoken for black women? To now become the poster child for black women in the media? I'm tired. I couldn't have said it better myself. Of course, Rochelle is going to post on Instagram asking our opinions, because she knows that she doesn't have an opinion that's relative to the topic at hand, talking about the mortality rate amongst black women, because number one, she's never had to walk that experience as a mixed race woman with proximity to whiteness, number one. And number two, she's in a different class. She's not the average black woman. She's not. The average black woman is Candice Braithwaite, because she has walked our path. Rochelle is a rich mixed race woman. Therefore, there is no relatability there. Of course, she's asking our opinion, but my question is, when has the black woman's opinion ever been anything that you have been interested in, Rochelle? When? Because you don't fight for us, you don't speak for us, and you sure as hell don't fucking speak for me. You've got nothing to bring. That's why you're asking for our opinion. But if you really want our opinion, open up your comments and let me give you my opinion, Rochelle. I don't need you to do this documentary. I need a black woman to do it. I need Candice Braithwaite to do it. I need a black woman to do it who has walked the walk, walked the path, and been told by medical professionals that our opinion doesn't count. That has been told by the medical professionals that we do not know our own bodies. Do you know what it's like to be dehumanized as a black woman in today's society? Being told that our feelings don't mean shit. And then you want to have a documentary where you're asking for my opinion? You're asking for our opinion? I am completely fucking triggered. And I'm fucking tired. I'm fucking tired. You take away our voice and you give it to somebody who doesn't know how to speak for us because she doesn't sit in our blackness. Being a black woman is an existence that we have every day. Every day. We are triggered. We suffer macroaggressions. We are told we ain't shit. We're made to feel like we ain't shit. The medical professionals treat us with such disdain and disregard. And you want to ask our opinion? Well, Rochelle, my name is Toya Washington. I'm going to give you my opinion. I do not accept that you are giving a narrative about the mortality rates and the treatment of the medical professional towards black women. I do not feel that you have the experience, the right, or understand the black woman's experience to be able to sit there and talk about something that is so sensitive, so triggering, and so scary. Because as a black woman, encountering the medical profession, the profession, is going to be my experience. I'm planning on having a child, and I'm scared. I'm terrified that I may not make it. And if I do, I would have had to walk the path of trauma to give birth to a child where my white counterparts don't have that same experience. As a black woman, I want to understand those statistics and how they affect me. And I don't need you to tell a story that you will never understand. So, Rochelle, you've asked for an opinion and I've given you mine. But you're still going to walk the path of privilege. And you're going to deliver a documentary that you have no place delivering. Do you know what it's like for me to have to sit down with my partner and my best friend and say to them, I don't know what my experience is going to be, but if I do not make it, make sure my child is fine. Even if I am dying in a pool of blood, go and check on my child. Do you know how I've had to sit there and process that to be able to articulate it? That means I understand that there is a reality that I have to get used to, and that reality is I may not have the best experience when I give birth. I may not have that experience. Do you know what that feels like? So preparing for childbirth and preparing for pregnancy has to be in consideration of the possible trauma I could go through whilst giving birth. That's the reality of black women, that we have to consider trauma as part of our experience, even the trauma that we haven't even experienced. That is the black experience. I apologise for the background noise. God. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to have to bring all of this emotion here. I'm sorry. But when I tell you I speak in my realness, the good, the bad, the ugly, the tears, the laughter, the jokes. This episode wasn't planned. I was planning to deliver a different episode, but in God's infinite wisdom and mercy, God's like, no, this is what you need to talk about. I know for a fact, a God-given fact, that if this platform was delivered by a white woman and was for white women, the Toy Talks platform would have catapulted. I'm telling you, this platform would have been global. Do you know, I'm not stupid. I know, but that because I am a black woman, delivering a platform to black women, for black women, about black women, I understand that this isn't palatable for white people or the white audiences. I know they don't like this. And this is why I know that this platform has to continue. I have to continue to deliver this platform because there are black women all over the world that access this platform. And I know the black women's lives that this platform has transformed and the lives that it has changed as we're navigating the world of work and navigating life. So when I sit here and tell you I'm doing the Lord's work, when I sit here and tell you that I'm sitting here in my truth, better believe that as a black woman, I'm passionate about black women. And no matter what happens, I will always want us as black women to succeed, to be healthy, to be happy, to reach success and attain success, because in the path that I'm walking here to deliver this to you, it ain't an easy one. You guys don't know the shit I have to go through. But each and every week I deliver this podcast because I know, even if it's one life it changed, that's one life of many that it will continue to change. Woo! Oh, God, I'm so sorry. Wow. I just feel, as a black woman, I feel very undermined. And I feel like our experiences are undermined. And this is a classic example of undermining our experience by whitewashing it and making it more palatable to be delivered to a global audience. A documentary like this, can you imagine? They've just decided, no, we're not going to go with the black woman that's been speaking about this, that has built her platform on this, that has spoken to black women and advocates for black women. No, they're going to remove it from Candice Braithwaite and they're going to give it to a mixed race woman who's asking for our opinion. How dare you? You're asking for our... I just don't understand. What is she's asking the opinion because you know that there is nothing that you can deliver that is relative and authentic to you. That's the reason you're asking. My question is, and the question of each and every one of us that choose to walk the path of childbearing, is how will the healthcare professionals, how will healthcare treat us? How will the healthcare system treat me? That's the question. That's the hashtag. How will the healthcare treat me? I want to know. I want to know. But the fact that's even a question is a fucking problem. It's a fucking problem. And we need to use our voices. We need to talk. We need to share. We need to educate. Because these people are trying to silence us in any which way they can. They're trying. And they're trying hard. Do you know what it is for them to try and silence us by giving it to a mixed race woman to talk about? It's almost like, well, we're giving it to you, but only a little bit. Oh, we're going to give it to you, but we're going to shape it and massage it in a way that is more... No! You can't massage a black woman's experience because they don't massage it when we're encountering that experience. God damn. This world is disgusting. We're living in a society where black women, we are othered. We're othered. Where we're made to feel like, no. If you're going to talk about your experience, you're going to talk about it in accordance to a measure of rules that have been created by white people. Well, shit, nothing damn changed them. Nothing has changed. Imagine, I'm thinking about when I go and I'm giving birth, I have to take my phone with me. I might have to go on Instagram live. Yeah, this is the level that I'm thinking. Because if I'm mistreated, I need it recorded somewhere. That is the level. This is what I'm having to think about. I'm triggered because I know that when my mum had me, she went through hell. And my dad, he shared that with me before he died. My father was traumatized when I was born. He told me facts. And there were conversations I had to have with my dad. He said, listen, I don't think much will change when you give birth. My dad told me this when I was 18. My dad goes, when you become a mother, I don't think much would have changed from when your mum gave birth to you. Because this country, the fabric of this country has been built on racism. So racism will then rear its head in places where black women need the healthcare. Black women need to be able to navigate in healthy spaces. We do. You afford it to white people. Why are we not good enough? By giving our story to somebody else, you make us feel like we're not good enough to tell our own story. You make us feel like the story doesn't even then belong to us. And then you want to ask our opinions. Well, our opinions don't really count for anything, does it? Because you've already taken it from Candice Braithwaite, a black woman, and given it to a mixed race woman. And you know what the worst thing is? Rochelle has closed her comments because she knows. She knows. Don't you remember when I gave an episode in season 2 about black gatekeepers? Do you remember? Go and listen to it. Because it's very pertinent to this topic right here. As black women, we need to stop accepting crumbs. Because I think in accepting the fact that and almost turning our heads and ignoring what has happened here, we're almost allowing white people to get away with their madness. You know, there was something that my friend sent to me. She said, you know, Rochelle to them is black enough to speak on black issues. Mixed race to them is black enough. That's what they're willing to accept. But dark-skinned black women is offensive to them. How can I don't understand how we allow white people to almost dictate our blackness and say, okay, if a mixed race woman does it, okay, there's a drop of blackness there, so we can have that. We can accept that. But if it's a dark-skinned black woman, no, we're not dealing with that. Who gave them the right to be able to start making distinctions like that? Do you know how dangerous it is for them to do that? That we allow them to do it. We allow them. We need to use our voices as black people. We need to use our voices. Because when every company was doing hashtag BLM, when they were profiting from our black experience, when it was trending in the summer of 2020, when they were willing and able to use that hashtag to garner and entice black spending, they don't want to use that hashtag to now talk about topics like this. No, they don't want to do that. It's too controversial for them. Being a black woman in today's society is controversial because white people do not see us as human beings that have emotions and feelings. We have to overachieve. We have to explain and educate on our blackness. We have to. You take from us, but you give us nothing. And then when we use our voices to tell you, you tell us we're angry. When we use our voice to tell you, you then take our voice and give it to a mixed race person. Whitewash it and ask them to then talk. I'll be watching the documentary. I will be given a very succinct review on that documentary. And I'm going to say this here now. As Toya Washington, I'm going to use my platform to say this. Whenever you take the black experience, whenever you take the experience of a black woman and you do not allow us to speak and tell of our black experience, you are attacking black women. And when you attack a black woman, we will use our voice and we will tell you that you're attacking us. We will protest that you're attacking us. We will scream it from the rooftops. You cannot silence the experience of black women so that you are comfortable as white people. You're not going to do it. Insofar as the Toya Talks platform exists and the platform of many other black women, such as Candice Braithwaite, such as Kelechi Okafor, and many other women, we're going to use our platform to talk what needs to be spoken on. We're going to talk the talk. And we're going to educate, and we're going to continue to educate and give black women the support that we need. Because you damn showed us that you don't give a shit about what we think. You damn showed us that you trivialize our experience. You damn well showed us that we ain't shit. But I'm telling you, we are the shit. We are it. We are queens. We are black queens. And as we navigate life, as we navigate the workplace, and as we navigate through the treacherous waters that you have created, you best understand we're going to hold you accountable. Oh yes, we will. The platforms that black people have created, we will get the credit for. What you're never, ever, ever going to do is take our story from us. Because as we have access to each other, we will talk. We will educate each other. We'll educate the next generation. I'm going to draw this episode to a close by reading a tweet from my good sis and the creator of the Say Your Mind podcast, Miss Kelechi Okafor. This is the same Rochelle who was on the hashtag Talk documentary with her husband, who was saying he doesn't think they need to talk to their children about racism. If this isn't a conversation you're willing to have in your household, with all disrespect, you should step aside. Furthermore, I totally agree that Rochelle may not have been aware that Candice Braithwaite, who is a national treasure at this point for all she has withstood, was cast aside for her. But sometimes look at the brief for the show and say, maybe this isn't for me. Also, all of you arguing that it's about platform and reach are telling on yourselves, and you need to suck your mum with expediency. If you were not light-skinned and specifically biracial, do you think they would have amassed such a following and platform in the first place? Whichever way you slice it, colorism is at the core, and maybe this will be the year that you stop lying to yourselves that it's anything other than what we tell you it is. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to thank each and every one of you who have made it this far into the Toy Talks podcast, and thank you for listening. Thank you for always providing me with the support and sharing with me your experiences. If you want to follow me on social media, my personal Instagram page is Toya_Washington. The Toya Talks Instagram page is Toya_Talks. The Clubhouse handle is Toya Washington, all one word. Snapchat handle is Toya Washington, all one word. And Twitter is Toya_W. If you want to email me, you want to share your work-related dilemmas, please email hello@toyatalks.com. If you want to keep abreast of all things Toya Talks related, then please access the website on www.toyatalks.com. If you're also interested in any of the masterclasses we have, the CV masterclass, the interview skills masterclass, negotiation skills masterclass, mother and daughter masterclass, and most recently the redundancy masterclass, then again, please access the toyatalks.com website. My name is Toya Washington. It's been with a heavy heart that I've had to deliver this episode to you, but a necessary episode for each and every one of us black women out there who are navigating the world of work and navigating life. Thank you again for listening, and I'll see you again next week for another episode of the Toy Talks podcast. My name is Toya Washington, and you have been listening to the Toy Talks podcast.